Celeste is an absolutely beautiful game. It's a very challenging 2D platformer that tackles subjects such as escapism, depression, self-consciousness, and self-forgiveness. But perhaps the most interesting thing to take out of Celeste is the fact that trans women can double jump. So today I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on characters from Celeste. And if you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Now let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a Celeste team. Special thank you to Arthur Mellon for coming up with this team suggestion. Now I have two very fast-paced and very interesting games to showcase, so I hope you enjoy them. Now, I'm leading things off here with Mr. Oshiro, aka Indeedee, you know, because Indeedee is like a butler. Didn't really have the best matchup into this Lead Fortress, so I'm actually going to swap in my granny, the Oranguru here. Now, if you notice in the box down below, I'm actually also going to put the movesets, because sometimes when I'm narrating these videos, sometimes I forget. So special thank you to the person that came up with the idea to do that. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm running a Choice Specs expanding force set on that, but I get red carded out into my Corviknight. Now, this is best nickname ever, by the way. So this is actually a specially defensive Corviknight with Power Trip and the Psychic Seed. This team really made use of the Psychic terrain from the Indeedee, so it's just unfortunate that I was swapped out so early, because like this Pokemon is meant to clean up late game, so. And I really couldn't do much to the fortress, especially since being paralyzed was only gonna make me more I guess it was gonna make me more annoyed, but it was just gonna be more annoying to deal with. So I'm actually gonna double out into my Oranguru. Now this is a Choice Specs Oranguru with Expanding Force in the Psychic terrain, which is going to do a lot of damage. Now Politoed is gonna Weather Ball me. That does a lot of damage to me, so I'm just gonna go for the Expanding Force there, and it does a little. Whoa! It does so much damage. What even happened there to my voice? What the heck? By the way, I'm doing this narration at 2 in the morning, and I'm running on 4 hours of sleep. So sorry if this sounds more scuffed than usual, but that Choice Specs Oranguru had Terra Fighting as well, because with Terra Blast, it actually is still a normal type move, but when you Terrasilize into a fighting type, it then becomes a fighting move. I thought it was really interesting, and I also had Focus Blast on that set, just in case I needed a stronger fighting move. Now I'm going to sacrifice my Corviknight. I'm paralyzed, and I used up my Psychic Seed. I didn't really find a great use for it, so I'm going to swap in Theo here for a Kleavor. I thought that Theo and Kleavor, they kind of had the same kind of facial structure, right? Because Theo has that beard, and I thought that Kleavor matched him very well. So I'm going to take out the Fortress with the Stone Axe. The close combat wasn't able to take it out, but that's good because I'm able to stall out the Raiders, and I'm able to get up the Stealth Rock, which ended up being extremely important. So in comes the Archaludon. I figured that this was definitely a sweeping set in rain because it has that signature move. I'm going to go for the close combat. I'm running a full-out offensive Kleavor with the heavy-duty boots so that I avoid any hazard damage. This isn't necessarily a lead Kleavor with Focus Sash. I just like running a sharpness boosted Kleavor because it's so powerful. It's so strong. It has the sharpness boosted X Scissors and Stone Axes, which they hit really hard, and I also have U-turn on that set as well. So I'm gonna get taken out there by the Electro Shot from this thing easily. There's no chance I'm really gonna live this, especially since Archaludon is a very strong Pokemon. So I'm gonna swap in Gengar here for Battle Line. Now I'm gonna go for the Shadow Ball and take out the Archaludon. I'm running a really interesting set. I have Hyper Beam on this, and I have Terra Normal with Hyper Beam. I thought that was interesting because I'm running a nasty plot Gengar. Now Politoed is gonna swap in, thinking that it could set up the rain, but the Stealth Rocks that I set up with the Kleavor was actually gonna be enough to take it out. That ended up being super crucial because there's a Pokemon in the back that I was definitely very afraid of, the Float Cell, obviously, and it has the Swift Swim, and the Choice Banded Wave Crashes Terra Water was going to be enough to sweep through my entire team. So I'm really happy that I was able to stop the rain with the Stealth Rock set up for my Kleavor. Now I'm going to be able to take out the Raikou here with the Sludge Wave. I'm running a nasty plot Gengar on this set with Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, and Hyper Beam, and the Focus Sash as the item. So even though the Raikou didn't necessarily take me down to my Focus Sash, I was still going to be able to guarantee live whatever it could throw at me. So in comes this Feraligatr. Now the Feraligatr is going to go for the Agility, and I was like, oh, Agility, interesting. And then they're going to have Ice Beam, so I'm like, oh, it's a special set. I've actually seen a set run like this before. I believe Hayden used it. It's like Sheer Force, Muddy Water, Ice Beam, and Terra Blast Electric. So, pretty cool to see a special Feraligatr. Now, I'm gonna swap in my Clefable now. I thought it was interesting to put like Madeline and Battleline as like Clefable and Gengar because there's that common like theory that Gengar is Clefable's shadow, how their designs look similar. So I thought that putting the two counterparts would be like the best approach. I'm also running a physical Life Orb Clefable, so this has like knockoff Play Rough dual Wing Beat, which I thought was fitting because Madeline could like double jump and she could like dash and everything. So I thought I really wanted to include a flying move, and I also have Terra Flying on this. So in comes the last Pokemon, which is the aforementioned Float Cell. It's actually looking really threatening because it can outspeed every single Pokemon on my team. Because Float Cell has a very high speed stat even outside of raid. So I'm gonna swap in my Indeedee male obviously for Mr. Oshiro, and I'm gonna set up that Psychic Terrain, and this Float Cell has a rude surprise waiting for it because I'm actually running a Choice Scarf on this, and I'm actually going to be able to outspeed and take out the Float Cell. That's going to be the end of that first game. That Choice Scarf definitely really saved me there because, like I said, this Pokemon in the rain was going to be super, super threatening. I was definitely very terrified of it throughout the entire game. But on into the second game. Now, this second game also had a really, really scary team, so it's a really interesting battle here. Now, I'm leading things off with my Indeedee versus the Clodsire. Now, they had an Alolan Muck in the back, and I thought, okay, I really can't afford that Pokemon to have a free switch in on me, so I'm actually gonna double out here into my Theo, because I was like, well, I really don't want the Alolan Muck coming in, because if I go for Expanding Force, I'm gonna have to switch in on the Muck's knockoff, and I really don't have any switch-ins to that, so I actually called that, so that's really good. I'm able to get the initiative, and I'm able to go for the Stone Axe and set up my Stealth Rocks there. I pretty much never run Stealth Rock on these like theme teams for some reason, but I'm using the Stone Axe just because I just like how powerful Cleaver is. So I am gonna get knocked off. There goes my Boots, and I'm gonna be able to take out the Muck with the X-Scissors. So I'm like, okay, that's really good. That's a really, really bulky Pokemon out of the way, and that's really nice. So although, speaking of Pokemon that have no switch-ins, here's a Meteidon. So I'm like, oh my goodness, yep, I'm definitely gonna live this Electro Drift. So yeah, that's easily going to be enough to take out my Cleavor. Now, I did have options versus this. I had my Scarf Indeedee, I had my Focus Sash on my Gengar, but I thought, okay, I should be able to badly live an Electro Drift and get the Revenge KO on this with the Play Rough. But unfortunately, they Terrasilize into an Electric type. I'm like, no, okay. There is zero chance that I'm going to be able to live this absolutely massive hit. It was really unfortunate because I had like 3 or 4 really, really good battles with this team, and I really couldn't choose between because I obviously only had to include like 2 of these games, right? And I really couldn't choose between like the 2 out of 3 that I wanted to choose for this video. So it's unfortunate because Madeline didn't really do much, but I promise you, the physical Clefable set it's powerful. So I'm gonna go for the Expanding Force on the Meteidon. I'm not gonna be able to take it out, unfortunately, so I'm gonna get hit by this Terra Electro Drift. But the Meteidon is no longer in the electric terrain, so it doesn't get the boost. And I'm able to live somehow. Oh my goodness, I lived on 9 health. What a crazy live. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go for another Expanding Force, but in comes their second Dark type with the King Gambit. It's also on an air balloon. This is like the 3rd Pokemon that's on an air balloon. Are they having a birthday party or something? So obviously I'm gonna have to swap out here because I don't want to take like a Kowtow Cleave on that. I don't want to lose my Indeedee at all. The Choice Scarf is like super important for me to deal with that Meteidon. So I'm gonna swap in my Corviknight here. Obviously the Tutorial Bird. I was gonna choose like Murkrow for this as well, but I thought, I really needed a Pokemon like Corviknight on this team. I feel like Prankster Murkrow under the Psychic Terrain wasn't really gonna benefit me much at all. So going for that Roost, the Kowtow Cleave did a lot of damage, obviously because of this thing's massive attack and the Supreme Overlord boost that it has. So I'm gonna start bulking up here. Now I'm running Terra Dark on this as well. But I didn't really think that I should Terrasilize here just because the Meteidon could always come in and Revenge KO me anyway, and I feel like I should be able to 1v1 this King Gambit here. Now I'm running Body Press on this, and that should be enough to absolutely clobber this thing, especially since they already Terrasilize. They're always going to be weak to this Body Press. They're always going to get pressed on. So I absolutely take out the King Gambit. They're gonna be depressed after that one. So after this swapping, they're gonna go into their Meteidon. So I'm like, well, like I said, I have no switches into this. Even though I have the Psychic Seed special defense boost, and I am running max special defense, there is no chance that I'm gonna live a Terra Electric boost a hit from this thing. Looking back, I should have ran max defense with the special defense increasing nature rather than full max special defense because, you know, that would have made my body press hit a lot harder, but that's just hindsight. So I'm going to swap back in my Indeedee. Now, the good thing about this is that they actually have no more switch-ins into this expanding force because both of their dark types are fainted. So I'm going to be able to revenge KO the Meteidon. So I'm like, okay, that's really good. We got the Uber out of the way. That's really good. That's really good. So there goes the Meteidon, and now the Ogerpon is going to come in. Now, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely just going to chip this as much as I possibly can because Ogerpon, you know, is a very threatening Pokemon. I do so much, but unfortunately, I don't take it out, and I'm going to get taken out there by the U-turn. So I was like, okay, well, do still have my Psychic Terrain up, and this is, like, perfect for my Oranguru to come in and potentially wreak havoc with the expanding force, and they bring in Clodsire. So I was like, oh no, this thing is gonna get absolutely walloped. Now I also have Psyshock on this just in case I needed to hit Pokemon on the physical side. So I'm gonna absolutely annihilate the Clodsire with the expanding force. Psychic Terrain boosted with this thing's special attack, it's gonna hit super hard. Now, the thing about Oranguru is actually has some really good natural bulk. So the Sinistcha is going to go for that Matcha Gotcha. This Pokemon is a really threatening sweeper, but I don't care how bulky it is. I am a Choice Specs Oranguru in the Psychic Terrain. And this, oh my goodness, the Expanding Force is going to be enough to one-shot Sinistcha. So the last Pokemon they had is Ogerpon. I do still have my Focus Sash Gengar in the back with Sludge Wave, so I can always revenge KO it, but they go for U-turn, and I lived! Oh my goodness! Oranguru is too strong, and I'm gonna be able to revenge KO the Ogerpon, and that's gonna be the end of both games. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this Celeste team. There's gonna be some more drastic channel changes in the future, by the way. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.